Hey, Robert, we're just about to go live.
Hey, Sasha, thanks.
Hey, Robert and Drea, we're just about to go live in like 30 seconds. And I just sent you an email that to turn your camera off until your item's up. I just want to make sure your tech works, like, so I can hear you. So, all right, I'm going to, we are live. Go ahead, Ms. Rains. We can't hear you, Robin.
Sorry. Good morning. I'm Robin Rains, and I would like to welcome you to the July 15th, 2021 Design Review Committee meeting. This is a 9-person committee whose primary function is to perform design review for projects located in one of the city's 3 designated review areas: downtown, the riverfront, and the new hotel overlay zoning districts. This is a mandatory review with voluntary compliance process with one exception, and that's for hotels seeking to skip council review. Hotels taking advantage of this incentive must receive a positive recommendation from the committee. All committee members and staff are participating virtually. We appreciate your patience as we work through committee meetings a bit differently. We are streaming live on our virtual engagement hub, which is accessible through the virtual engagement hub link on the front page of the city website, and also linked on the committee page. You can also watch this meeting on the city's YouTube channel. We also have an option for the public to listen live by phone by calling 855-925-2801 and enter code 9410 when we get to the public comment section. You may dial this same number and press *3. For those of you who are out there with us today, welcome. I will now go through and introduce all the committee members who are participating virtually. Please make sure to mute your microphone if you are not speaking. When you have a question or would like to speak, unmute your microphone, unlike what I did. Please remember to mute your phone after you're done speaking. Committee members, as I call your name, please say a quick hello. Chair Jane Matthews. She's absent today. Karen Craig-Nolan.
Hello, I'm here today.
Okay. Jeremy Goldstein. He absent today. He's not here yet. Okay. Kimberly Hunter.
Hello, everyone.
Hey. Stephen Lee Johnson.
Here.
Brian Moffitt is absent today. Ben Williamson.
Hi, all. I'm here. Hope you can hear me. I'm on the phone today. Apologies.
We can hear you. Thanks, Ben. To help our audience follow along, I'll state each section of the agenda aloud, and I will do a vocal roll call for each vote if there's a vote to be taken. Additionally, I ask that committee members raise their hand to speak, and I will call upon them. We will begin with our administrative items, and the administrative item first is the approval of minutes. Did everyone get a chance to read the minutes? And I did note one change. Jane Matthews was absent, and she's listed as present. That's the only thing I saw. Did anybody else see anything else?
I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. And then I get to get roll call vote. Sorry. Roll call vote for that. First, I will call on Karen Craig-Nolan.
I wasn't there, so I can't vote.
Okay. Jeremy's Goldstein's not here. Kimberly Hunter.
Aye.
Stephen Lee Johnson.
Aye.
Ben Williamson.
Aye.
And I, myself, say aye. Okay, the minutes are approved as amended. And the second agenda item under administrative is the discussion of in-person meetings, date and time. Due to the state of emergency ending on July 31st, the city is no longer allowed to have virtual meetings. So we need to figure out a time and date that will work for us in person. Hello, Jeremy.
Much apologies. I'm getting ready to leave town. Thank goodness Shannon texted me. I was away from my desk and there's a reminder up there, but I wasn't in front of my desk. Apologize.
Yes, so Madam Vice Chair, I know a couple folks we had, deciding on this time, we said we would rediscuss it if we went to in-person meetings. So I know I'll ask you all, or I'll just rely on you all to tell us what works for you. And I do have a schedule of other meetings I can double check against.
This is Stephen Lee. Sasha, is there a suggested time that we could start with in discussing it?
Well, I think we could keep this time, and I don't know if that works for folks. I mean, Stephen Lee, I think you had said something about you have a meeting right up to 12 on the third Thursdays. And I think someone else, Ms. Hunter, maybe said, in person might change availability. So we just wanted to make sure this time still worked for folks.
If this still works for everybody, I can make it work.
I'm also flexible to move it up a half hour if Stephen Lee needs transition time. I mean, that works for me fine.
Move it to 12:30.
Yeah, I mean, if that's helpful for him.
That's very helpful.
Yep. For me, I think I just want to be sure no one's rushing. So if that's helpful, then I would agree to that.
Great. Okay. I think that works for us. So we'll say 12:30 on the third Thursdays.
That works. Do we need to vote on that?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Shannon, do they have to vote on that? I don't think so.
No, that doesn't require a vote.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you, everyone.
All right, the next item on the agenda is new business, and we have 2 items for formal design review today. The first is 17 Truckers Place. It's a level 1 project. It's a new 16,100 square foot, 1-story building for auto body repair shop along the Swannanoa River corridor. Zoning is River District, and the parcel is 2.09 acres. And Sasha is pulling it up now.
Thank you. Yeah, let me actually switch back. So this project, as you just said, this is on the corner of Truckers Place and Swannanoa River Road. And I'll just, as a reminder, I can't see anybody when I do this, so speak up if you need me to stop or have a question. So it's this parcel right here, about 2 acres. You may know the Aldi. If I drop a person, I always find the context helpful just to see it in 3D a little bit. They also provided site photos for you all of the context that this is happening excuse me. And this is the site plan. So, sorry, let me grab my staff report. So this is a 16,000 square foot building for auto body repair. The design review, planning and design review committee of the Riverfront Commission met with these folks back in January, and we had a long discussion about the orientation of this building. It was turned a different direction. So it's been turned and the design's been much improved. So this is a level 1 project. I believe they've gone through most of their zoning changes and revisions with DSD staff. So this is the landscape plan. They have street trees required here at the front, here near the bottom of your screen, and they're small trees due to power lines. They have building impact and tree canopy landscaping. So there's a lot of landscaping on both sides of the developed area. And there's street trees here along Truckers Place. sidewalk, both on Truckers Place and Swannanoa River Road. And then, let me go. So this is a black and white of the elevations of the building. So this top elevation is the elevation that would face Swannanoa River Road. It has this kind of manufactured stone at the bottom and for the corner of the building. And then you can see here this is really set back, I believe it's the screened area for where there's parking and cars that they're working on are being parked. And then below here is the elevation. This would be the elevation, the facade facing Truckers Place. So you have the corner element here at Swannanoa River Road, and then garage openings. And then these are the other two. So this would be the rear of the property, and this would be the side. And there are color renderings of these, or colored versions of these. And let me zoom in here a little bit. And so they provided kind of a material palette here. So they are muted colors, which is the guidelines actually do call for that, to not to have more muted, colors. What else? So here is these look like examples from some other buildings that they have in some other locations. Oh yeah, they do. The locations are labeled. So these are examples of what it could look like. They have also submitted a sign package. It does call for internally lit signs, I think on the wall sign here. And there's also a pole sign. Let me get to, or a smaller kind of post and panel. And this is the permanent pole sign as well. Let's see. And they, submitted the narrative that we require for everyone. And that's pretty much all I have at this point. I'd be happy to take any questions, or I could let the applicant speak some. Basically I would say staff is recommending approval. They've made what we saw back in January was not really great because there was a lot of blank wall facing Swannanoa River Road. So those improvements really helped. I think the landscaping will really help with this vacant lot right now, and they've chosen appropriate riparian species for the lot, and as I said, the muted colors work for the guidelines. And it sounded like somebody made a comment. I can
Jeremy
I
raised
may
his
have
hand.
missed it since I was late, but I was just going to suggest that you, and maybe everybody already knows this, but they went through the Riverfront Design Committee before this committee was formed and made, I think, a lot of changes based on that. So I just thought that would have been helpful, or maybe you already did it, or maybe we already did it, but just to point out all the changes they made, or a lot of them, or maybe we did that last meeting, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I just mentioned that. Yeah, and there was, they are restricted in some ways. I think there were some comments at the committee by a landscape architect that wanted kind of a more unique kind of landscaping plan, but we've got pretty stringent rules about spacing of street trees. Like you have to do it at least 15 feet, but no more than 65. And, there's rules like that. So I think they've done the best they can with those rules. Any other comments or questions for me? I can turn it over. Megan Vieren is here with her team, who's working on this plan.
Hi, thank you, Sasha. So Sasha covered it pretty well, and we did take into account all the comments we received previously, and we've worked pretty closely with staff through the level 1 process also to accommodate all the concerns from the last meeting, and also working within some of the unique restraints of the site, staying out of the floodway, and also working with some of the topo challenges of bringing the site above the base flood elevation to meet those requirements as well. So, we've really worked hard to kind of get this to where we think staff and the city would like it. So if there's any specific comments or questions you have for any of us, we're here to answer them.
Could you talk a little bit about how you're designing the stormwater for this?
Yeah, so I can kind of do high level. If there's like specific technical questions, Blake, our civil engineer, is on. But so it is an underground system, and it's kind of shown on the. You can kind of see the outline of it on our site plan and landscape plan that we included with the. I guess the landscape plan has a better visual.
Oh, right here.
Yes.
So underneath the parking area.
Correct. So I don't know if there were specific questions you have, but it is an underground system. It's under the parking area, and it's that kind of shaded area that you can kind of see that you can see on the landscape plan.
Karen raised her hand again.
How does the underground storage work with the water table there?
So Blake, I don't know if you're on and if you know right off the top of the head, off your head of like what the where the water table is at. But
I don't know off the top of my head, but per the geotech that we received, there wasn't any concerns or comments or anything that was pointed out and an issue for us. So no issues.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Do we open this up for public comment once we're through discussing, or what's our process?
The agenda has public comment on the end, but
Yeah, I think we could do it. I mean, Robin, I think what we started to do last time is if you all had a motion on the table that was seconded, then you could open it for public comment.
okay.
Is there a recommended motion in the?
There is.
Why am I not seeing that?
It's in the bottom of the staff report, which is I can pull it up if you want.
Hang on. There it is. I see. I'd like to make a motion. I would move to recommend approval of 57 Robert Street project as presented based on the site plans, elevations, and materials submitted. Discussions heard during this review and find that the project meets the intent of the River District Design Review Guidelines.
I'll second that. And then we open the floor for public comment.
There's no one in the queue at this time for public comment.
And we did not receive any written public comments either about this project.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then this project is approved.
You have to vote.
So we have to vote on it?
Oh, right, yes. We'll vote. That's what I meant to say. Jeremy Goldstein.
I think Karen raised her hand if we want to.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. Karen, did you raise your hand again?
I did. I wondered, can anybody tell me when the last time the flood maps were updated by FEMA?
I don't know the answer to that question. Shannon, do you know?
I don't, but we can find out. I don't know if
I
we'll
might be able to.
to.
The one that we are referencing from FEMA was updated January 6, 2010. That's
And
the
do you
one
think
we're
anything
referencing
is
in our plan?
Do you think anything's changed climatically or otherwise since 2010?
No, the base flood elevation is still the same. It was 2020, which we're 2 feet above. So no, we actually even did a separate flood study for this. So I don't think there was any changes, no, to my knowledge.
Flooding may be happening more often, I guess, but I guess a question of, is it flooding higher, or, you know, that's a different question, I guess, with the flood modeling. And I thought the state was going to release a new model at some point, so.
I'm going to abstain from voting from this. And the reason is I think we're working with incomplete data. I think that we have to work with the state to get these floodplain maps updated. Clearly, things are changing, and I'm not sure that we're working with the most accurate information.
I have a question on process. How many of us are here?
6. Well, I think people don't have it. We have Robin, Karen, Jeremy, Kimmy, Stephen Lee, and Ben's on the phone. So we have 6 out of 8.
And what is needed for approval?
You need 5.
I mean, my only concern about the reason for the abstention, and of course it's Karen's right to abstain, but are we going to hold every project hostage until we have updated flood maps, and when's that going to be? And it doesn't seem exactly fair to me, but again, it's Karen's right to do that.
I really, Jeremy, I know I'm kind of being a pain, but I really want this issue on the record, and I really want us to take it seriously. And if you've been on the river a lot, which I have, you've seen changes. And I think they need to be reflected in how we move forward with building.
Megan raised her hand.
A straw poll to see how the remaining 5 are feeling about this at the moment.
Megan raised her hand. I was going to let her speak to this issue if she had some comments first.
Yeah, so I actually just went on the FEMA website, the flood map, and it's still showing the firm panel effective date in 2010. It's actually interesting that Karen brought this up because I'm on the Planning and Zoning Board in our city in Safety Harbor, Florida, and we had a quorum last night, and somebody asked the same question about the flood maps. So I checked it on that project last night because it's very valid concerns. I know things are changing, but FEMA is still showing. I can share my screen with you if you'd like. They're still showing the firm panel effective date of January 6, 2010 for our site. So nothing has changed to date. I don't know if that helps, but.
Vice Chair, I think it's okay to just, well, I shouldn't, Jeremy was asking for a straw poll, but I think this, at the end of the day, this is a voluntary compliance vote. And so I think.
Okay, I withdraw my request.
All right, then I will do a roll call vote. Karen Craig Nolan is abstaining. Jeremy Goldstein.
Aye.
Kimberly Hunter.
Aye.
Stephen Lee Johnson.
Aye.
Ben Williamson.
Aye.
And I, Robin Rains, aye. So this project is approved, and we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a level 1 project on 284 Lyman Street. It's a proposal for a new accessory structure for outdoor seating area, a beer garden, and the project is also renovating a warehouse for storage and commercial use. Total square footage of pavilions is 2,720 square feet and an additional 657 square foot porch. Zoning is RAD, RIV, and the overall parcel is 2.3 acres.
Thank you. Can you all see my screen?
No, not yet.
No.
Okay. Great. Click all the buttons. Okay. Thank you. So this project is, and I meant to do this again, this is on Lyman Street, so again in the River District. It is just south of the Stoneyard project, which was approved by council several years ago. It is this kind of, it's a flagpole lot where Jeanette Lumber was located in this warehouse. It's this area here. And you know, now this Google is not totally updated because now we have a roundabout up here. Well, here it is. So coming down from the roundabout, I'll show you really quickly. This is the drive back to the property. So they provided some context pictures and some pieces of the river guidelines. And sorry, here we go. So some context photos. And so basically this proposal is not a new building. It's not substantially changing the existing buildings. It is mainly for pavilion structures that are here in front of the building, but behind another lot. So there are, I believe, I haven't said in my staff report, 9 accessory buildings, or 9 accessory structures, I should say. And I will let Robert Todd is here, and Drea Jackson is here from Red House Architecture. I'll let them explain a little bit more about the design of those, but they are made out of storage container, kind of, you know, the tops and the steel poles supporting those, and they've got a lot of art. So here's an example of one of those structures. And they also have some very unique signage done by a local artist. And there also is there's a porch being added to one of the buildings that will also be used. So here's a kind of an inspiration image for what it might look like. And there's also a mural on one piece, and I'll let them explain that. They explained it to me, but I will not do it justice for sure. And here's this is kind of a cross section showing the new porch on the building of the existing building. So this project did go to the Riverfront Commission last week, and I was out of town, but I listened. Or I read the transcript of the meeting actually, and from what I gather, people thought on the Riverfront Commission that it was compatible design-wise with the aesthetic in this area of the River Arts District. It is a more industrial area, and the murals and the artwork. There were, I think I put it in my staff report. There was a little bit of concern about trucks operating in the area, you know, interfering with through traffic. And I think that the one issue that business owners in this area are concerned about is parking. But this is meeting the parking requirements from the UDO. When we passed the River Arts Form-Based Code a few years ago, we did lighten the parking requirements to some degree, but also the parking, there was a parking reduction in effect, and we've since discovered that the wording, there's some conflict, so that's not being used here. But it does meet the UDO requirements. And I'll stop there and ask Robert or Drea if they would like to talk a little bit more, unless anybody has any questions at this point. Doesn't sound like it. Robert or Drea, do you want to talk a little bit? And just tell me if you want me to scroll to a particular page.
Okay, thank you, Sasha. It's, I don't know if I need to be allowed to use video. It's not.
Yes, no. Oh, you should be able to turn your camera on.
Okay, I'm having, it's limiting me on the video, but you'll have me on audio. thanks for the introduction on this. I'll give a quick run through, and I've got Drea who can join in as well if there's more detail needed. But you may be familiar with this project as the current Bonnets warehouse, or a lot of people have gone there as Jeanette Lumber. And so Highwire is their main production facility is at Huntsman Place near Biltmore Village on Biltmore Avenue. And they were needing to source warehousing for their canned product, both empty cans and then their finished product. And so that's when they reached out to find warehouse property and located this, and then determined, I think, to kind of help enliven it a little bit, and also to help pay the rent check, is they could take some of this former truckway out in front and be able to create a beer garden. So there's no brewery production on site, but there will be consumption in the beer garden. The interior is predominantly warehouse with a small retail area, and then the beer garden is created with repurposing shipping containers, and the mural that Sasha showed on those elevations, that's along the perimeter, and so it kind of creates a contained environment there with the mural on the outside. And then that inspiration image in the upper left of the screen there is kind of the feel once you're inside the beer garden. And so the existing surfaces are either asphalt or gravel. Those will just be maintained. We do have a net reduction of impervious surfaces by adding additional trees and plantings. So it'll be a net reduction of impervious there. And then we've got Chuck Bersima is their artist that we've used him on previous projects with Highwire. And so that's his sign there, and he'll also be doing the entry gates to the beer garden. And then Ian Wilkerson is their muralist at other locations. And so they'll put Ian to work with his creativity for this mural on the outside. And I think in reading through what is trying to be achieved down in the River District, and certainly with the new improvements with the Greenway and the Wilma Dykeman plan, is we're trying to create gathering spaces. We're trying to also balance between industry and let's say entertainment. And so I think this project exemplifies what we're trying to achieve in the River District. They had a physical need for production storage, and so they're adding to that sort of a fun outcome, which would be having folks come down and get to enjoy the outside there. If you have any questions, I can certainly help respond.
Does anybody have any questions? I heard somebody raise. Oh, Stephen Lee raised a hand.
Hey, thanks. I just had two comments. It looks like that and Sasha, you know this answer, I bet, real quick, but it looks like the property does touch the right of way there on Lyman, so sidewalks or requirements are being met. But I just know how many people are probably going to enjoy the space as a pedestrian coming off the Greenway or the sidewalk there. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty interesting challenge, perhaps, to get back there. That was just a general comment. Really doesn't have to do with design, but it does with site design. And then the other thing is, I just wanted to suggest that as the landscape that's required on this, which I'm sure is minimal, but I'd like to just suggest that the team take advantage of the industrial nature of this site and maybe have their landscape kind of reflect that given the soil type that's out there and the conditions, the type of maintenance it's probably going to get. A landscape that's more reflective of kind of an industrial site. It may be pushing the ordinance limits a little bit, but I think it would be worth a try. So those are my comments. Thanks.
Anybody else have anything they want to ask about or comment on? Okay. Then does anybody have a motion?
It looks like Karen has her hand up.
Okay, I couldn't see that. Karen? Karen, do you have a question?
No, I'm sorry, I don't have a question.
Oh, okay. All right. Well then, I move to recommend approval of 284 Lyman Street project as presented based on the site plans, elevations, and materials submitted and discussions heard during this review, and find that the project meets the intent of the River District Design Review Guidelines.
I'll second.
Okay. I'm going to do a roll call vote. Karen Craig Nolan.
Sorry, Robin, do you want to ask for public comment?
Oh, yes. Sorry. I cannot.
We did not receive any written comments on this project.
Okay.
And there's no one in the queue waiting to speak on this item.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Someday I'll remember this. Okay, roll call vote. Karen Craig Nolan.
Hey, aye.
Okay. Jeremy Goldstein.
Aye.
Kimberly Hunter.
Aye.
Stephen Lee Johnson.
Aye.
Ben Williamson.
Aye.
And Robin Rains, aye. Okay, the project is approved, and we will move to the next agenda item, which is an informal design review for 44 Collier Avenue. It's a new building at 44 Collier. It's a 3-story mixed-use building with additional level below grade with parking. A restaurant, retail, art studios, and lobby on the first floor, approximately 24 hotel rooms on the second floor, 10 condominium units on the third floor.
And I believe we have Eric Howell here from MHA Architecture. And Eric, I can share this. I mean, I guess if you have other things you want to show, we can do that too, but I'll let you just take it away.
Thank you, Sasha. I also have with me Peter Alvarez and Brett Kruger, who's an owner representative. Peter?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Sasha, the drawings that you're showing aren't the most recent version, but it will serve our purpose to give the group an introduction to the project. The project is between Collier and Millard on the south slope. And it's in the triangular shaped property where the Mel Chin sculpture is currently located, which will be at some point moved to another permanent location. But that's the site right in the middle of the screen. It's right now it's a series of broken concrete slabs that's slope from north to south down to the triangular intersection between Collier and Millard. So that's the site. The city recently installed some sidewalks in that area, and that will give you an idea of how much it slopes from one end to the other, which is a little bit over a story in height. Our design concept is to develop a small mixed-use building that includes retail, in-building parking below grade, retail restaurant space at the street level facing both streets. The second level will have hotel rooms and support spaces. The third floor will be residential condominium units, and the top floor, the roof, will be a roof garden, roof deck, which you can see in this picture. The idea here is to be a roof deck with informal dining. We're going to crane a food truck up to the roof and have that be where food is served. On the south side of the building, which is towards the acute angle facing southwest, that will be a green roof. And most of the mechanical equipment will be located on portions of the green roof on the north side of the building, which adjoins burial to the upper side of the drawing. So actually, we're going to just scroll through each image one by one. This is a view along Collier showing multiple entrances into the building. One will be to the hotel, one will be to the condominium, one will be to a restaurant. The second floor will be the hotel rooms, third floor will be the condominium. The design concept in the building is we're trying to have the building have a feel of an old industrial building that has been added onto in several stages over time. So you'll notice that a lot of the windows don't line up vertically or horizontally, and that's intentional to make it read as not a singular building structure, but one that developed over a period of time. The scale of the windows are similar to the industrial sash found in the adjoining properties that will help inform how we do the window design in this building. We try to have as much transparency as possible at the street level, because we are going to develop that level as multiple types of retail opportunities, whether they're art galleries with studios, with small retail. There'll be probably a coffee shop and some type of indoor-outdoor dining, all on that one level. And then the level where the round element is at the corner, there'll be a small retail space that's about 1,500 or so square feet. The reason, because I'm sure it's all on the top of your mind, why is that thing round? And that is a nod to the fact that this is the beer brewing district of Asheville, and that's supposed to replicate a reused beer tank. So that will be some type of metal skin structure with windows punched in it, but it's a sign that gives visitors the understanding that this is coming into the South Slope district. The hotel, the working name for the hotel, is going to be called the brewery, right?
District Brewery.
District Brewery. So that will work into the signage of the project as well. Sasha, you want to keep scrolling through?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Now parking is going to be a critical problem. It always is everywhere in downtown. So we have parking set up so that across the top of the sheet and down the left-hand side to the stairwell, that will be residence parking, and that will all be sold as part of the condominium unit. The rest of the space will be for valet parking for the hotel. So we're working to have one space per hotel room that will be parked by staff. So if you go to the next slide, guests will drive from south to north up Collier, which is on the left-hand side. They will someone will greet them, take their car, drive it around the block, and come. They'll drive north, go one building over, and then come back down Millard and drive into the parking garage below for parking. And then the guests will go into the hotel lobby and check in. The next level up from there, that's predominantly where all the hotel rooms are. The open space that you see in the middle, that's intended to be a a light well that will run up the entire height of the building to bring daylighting into all 3 occupied levels. So on the first floor, we'll have daylighting coming down into the retail space. Second level will be bringing daylight into the circulation area and the hotel rooms that are facing it. And then the top floor will be bringing daylight into the corridor area of the condominium floor. And the idea there is that because it's a fairly wide building and there's not a lot of daylight penetration from the side, we felt that it'd be much nicer experience to have the daylight coming down through the building to provide natural light. And then the next slide is the level where the condominium units are. It is, 10 or 12 units will ultimately be there. They range in size from 1 bedroom to 2 bedroom. Right now we're showing some storage in the middle, but that may be converted into making some of the units larger. And then the next slide shows the conceptual plan for the roof. And then the next 2 slides, I believe, show some flat-on elevations showing the location of the windows and doors, the large industrial sash at the street level for retail. The image, the elevation 1, the north elevation, that butts up directly to burial, so there's not going to be a lot of openings on that wall. But the other elevations will have quite a lot of openings to their respective sides. I think there's a couple more, Sasha. Yeah, those are some cross sections through the building showing the light well and how the parking works, the height of the retail space. In terms of the materials inside the building, because we wanted to replicate a raw industrial space, everything from the foundation all the way up to the support of the second level will all be either steel or cast-in-place concrete with brick veneer and backup insulation on the outside. And then everything above that will most likely be wood framing, all with brick and masonry veneer. So that's as far as we've taken the design right now. We're obviously very excited about the project. We think it'd be a great addition to the South Slope neighborhood of downtown, and that it works within the context of the existing site, the scale of the buildings, and the materiality that is there. So if anyone have any questions, we'd be glad to answer them right at this time.
Stephen Lee raised a hand, and then Kimberly Hunter.
Hey, thanks, Robin. I just wanted to comment on just the general project. I think that it appears to really be responding well to the context, and especially just the use of brick and the type and size of windows. And it looks like a great project. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this is Kimmy Hunter. I just want to comment as well. I am so excited about what I'm seeing and the elevations and the use of materials. It is really appropriate for the location, a great use of the parcel, including how you've determined how to get underground parking in. I just think it's really smart design, and I am excited about it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love the food truck on the roof. I think that's awesome. I think that's a really cool idea. I love it. I have a question about the brick. I get that the windows are supposed to look like it's added on. Are you going to age the brick to make it look old, or is it going to look like new brick? Because if it's new looking, I don't like the windows being offset like that. But if it's old looking, then I believe that your concept will carry through.
You know, Robin, we're going to have it appear aged, whether it's actual old bricks or new bricks that look old. We haven't determined that yet. And it's probably not going to be the same color all the way around. Again, which would give it more of an evolving look rather than just a single new brick. That's the intention, is to have it look like a building that's been added on to multiple times over a 100-year period.
I think changing the brick color and aging it would definitely help, because those renderings with it, where it's new looking, it just doesn't, it bothers me a little bit, but I think it could work if you change the colors. Anybody else have any comments? Sasha?
I do. Thanks. Let me go back to the, I guess I'll say I'm glad to see there's like a more restraint with balconies, because I do think with these balconies, there's this risk of them looking pasted on because they come out so far. And I'm just walking around downtown lately. I've been having, not happy with balconies being so, I don't know, somehow they don't feel as integrated into, but so I'm glad these seem more restrained and there's not as many of them. I guess I would prefer them, frankly, if they were less deep and didn't come over the sidewalk so much. But that's just me.
Yeah, Sasha, the intention here, again, is they would be, one of the things about balconies that always bothers me is if you can see through them and, you know, see the rusted bicycle and the broken up lawn furniture and just the stuff. What we want to do is use some type of metal, where it's perforated metal or some type of metal. It's the same metal as the beer canister, and have that be a metallic theme that's carried throughout the building. It's one of the materials that we use. So we understand that concern about the balconies and their scale.
So my question is, you said this wasn't exact to what you have now. One of the there's two things that I really like about this, which is the respect for the topography and the grade. And so there's several entrances along the way, you know, and also this rotunda style ending allows for more lighting. Are those things changed, or what other things have been changed?
The only thing that's changed is we moved one of the exit stairs to make the interior work better, where the restaurant will be on the north end of the building. And we've put a series of entry doors in the round cylinder so that people can enter into that space. And that will be at a level, it'll be flush with the sidewalk. Right now, what you're seeing there is about 5 feet above the sidewalk. So it's not really as engaging as it would be if we had a separate level in there served by that entry. So that's the one thing that's changed. We moved the stairwell. And then, Sasha, if you go around to the Millard side of the building, which I think is the next slide. Yeah, right here, where the person is walking into the doorway, we've carved all that out. So there's a fairly large outdoor dining space that's right behind that corner. So it's going to be way more open to the sidewalk at that point. The idea is that we're trying to make the Millard Street more, I guess, restaurant friendly, if you will, because the pizza place on the other side of the street, and we're trying to create some synergy there between different restaurants, and it seemed like a good place for that. So those are the changes, but other than that, it's the same project.
I had a thought about the can. Can you go back to that 3D view? Right now, it looks like as you get above the can, it's going to be brick the same as the rest. And I think that could be fun if that could look like the inside of a can, or some kind of different, if that could be treated a little bit different than the other triangular walls, because that's a fun part.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yep.
Does anybody else have any thoughts or comments?
I would just ask the team, what's your schedule? You had your neighborhood meeting for this project?
Yes.
And so your next step is TRC. Are you and then coming back here, I would guess.
Yes, we have, Eric's, I think he's worked with either you or Shannon on the schedule. And I know we've had our neighborhood meeting, but I don't, and then this meeting, of course. And I'm not sure when, I don't have the calendar schedule in front of me, but we have planned it out over the next 2-3 months.
Okay. But so this project won't be coming back to this committee until, I guess, September at the earliest, because you all have to go to TRC first. So just so everybody knows. So everybody knows.
Okay, does anybody else on the committee have anything?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. That's fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too. So the next agenda item is future discussion topics. Sasha, are there any?
I don't think so. I think not off the top of my head. There may be something in our, I think the staff is going back to city council in September to just give them an update on hotel, I think. And I don't know if, we need to talk internally, but I think if you all have any thoughts about how this process is going, and if, I haven't talked to Todd about that, or Shannon, but
Stephen Lee raised his hand.
We're getting into a rhythm here, but there may be other topics that other folks want to talk about.
I just had a question. Where will our meetings be taking place starting next month?
Oh, great question. So first floor of City Hall, the North Conference Room, which is where the Downtown Commission meets.
Okay, thanks.
Karen raised a hand. Karen, do you have a question?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, sorry. I've been following this committee for a long time, and people on the committee have been really begging for more definitive design guidelines. And where are we with that?
That's a great point. So I do, I don't know if Shannon has an update on that. I think that staff was going to come to this committee at some point. Shannon, do you have any?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry, I had to step off for a phone call.
It's about guidelines and really, just so that we're all on the same page, the downtown guidelines were passed in 2010. The river ones are from, I think, the 90s. So they're a bit more out of date. And where are we with that process?
So that is a really good question. I'll have to check with Steph Monson-Dahl on that. She was working on trying to secure some funding to be able to start to look at guidelines. And she gave me an update like a couple weeks ago, but I haven't heard anything since, so I'm not sure what the status is. I'll try to find out though, and I can send an email to the group.
That's all I have, Robin.
Okay. The agenda has public comment now. Do we have anybody waiting in the queue?
We do not.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, that's the end of the agenda. So
I make a motion to adjourn.
Can I add one note before we make that thing? Just so everybody knows, we'll be an in-person meeting. We're not at the point yet where we're going to be streaming these live and taking phone comments. That would be ideal, obviously, but people will still be able to email comments ahead of time or put voicemail comments ahead of time, and then they can come to the meeting. So I just want everybody to know that. Thanks.
Okay. Well, Jeremy made a motion to end the meeting. I'll second that. Do we need to vote on that? I can't remember ever. Let's vote just for fun. Karen?
Aye.
Nolan. Okay. Kimberly Hunter. She's gone. Stephen Lee,
Aye.
she voted by leaving. Ben Williamson. Okay. And I. So
Aye.
see y'all live next month.
Thank you all.